In light of recent events, I was heavily influenced by this amazing young man who recorded a video a couple of days ago, and I saw it this morning. And it definitely inspired me to make some more content, but really to just stay the course on savage kindness, which has always been my jam, um, especially as a mark of my leadership. And we can go back years, and I've got the receipts. However, wanted to talk about niceness a little bit because often when you're nice and you're kind, it's taken for a weakness, and I've spoken about that in a past video. Because I'm one of those black girls that was raised by a mom who was like, "Oh, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice." And we are in a society now that you really have to grin and bear it, but being nice and being kind is the only way to go because we are not prepared to see what could happen. Um, and I think just by the reaction of recent events and violent events, and then watching the way people respond to it in person, also makes me wonder if we just need to explore the concept a little bit more that, okay, so what's the option if we're not ready to see the carnage in the street and we all act like this violence is not happening? And clearly it's showing that many of you just don't realize it's happening. You're just lucky enough to have not experienced it yet. um, and not wishing anything on anyone. But before do we have to get to that point? I guess is what I really want to say. Do we really need to go there? Or have we reached a point now where it's like it's time for an alternative? And savage kindness is it. But we've been so busy being rugged individualists and hating each other that we are like, how do we do that? And hopefully this place will give you some tips on doing just that. Because one thing I have practiced as part of my leadership too is being loving and kind to the collective. And sometimes being loving does not always mean that you're nice. Being savagely kind, sometimes you have to say things that may not be considered nice, but they necessitate the need for the to be said for the success of the collective, because it's not about one individual being, but it's the success of the collective. And if you know, you know. So one thing that I just want to say that we are not ready for a war. Do we need to be stepping over dead bodies? How many dead bodies have to be in the street? Do you need to see it for its impact to really hit you? Let's not. Please, let's not. Life is not a video game. And I had a feeling as a teacher who began my career in the 90s and ended my career in 2025 as a principal, watching what video games have done to our society, they did exactly what I knew they were going to do. They have completely desensitized people to the violence. We've got young people out here living life like it's a video game. And then they freak the heck out when they actually see someone get shot beside them. Or they think it's like a game, like boom, 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 game over, pew, pew, pew. And and then they're not prepared to deal with the psychological impact of that decision and how they've just created a life to then allow themselves to be enslaved. We need to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Savage kindness now.